Hey y'all, Trisha Stetzel here, and I serve those who are serving others. So, welcome to this week's episode of Serving the Community podcast. I created this podcast to highlight people and organizations in our own communities who are serving others and giving back to make our communities, our country, and sometimes even the world a kinder place to live. And serving doesn't just make your heart feel good. You probably heard that some studies have shown that there are mental and physical health benefits to serving, like reducing depression, lowering blood pressure, and even lengthening your lifespan. Putting other people's needs before yours also strengthens your relationships. It connects you with the ones you are serving. And if that someone is someone you know, it creates a stronger bond with them. Serving also enriches other people's lives. And perhaps the best benefit of serving is the chance that person paying it forward. If you help someone, they're more likely to do something nice for someone else that day. Your one act of kindness could have a major domino effect. It's like the pebble on the pond, creating that ripple effect. Now, it's time to talk to our amazing giver this week. I'm so excited about my guest today because her business actually reaches all of these points, and it's very exciting. I met her about 2 years ago through a networking business, BNI, and we've had a few encounters since then, and I love her product, I love her heart, and I love the foundation that we're going to talk about today. Jayci Schmitt, welcome to Serving the Community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for providing this platform for us to kind of go behind the scenes and talk about things that we do behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I didn't realize that Cabi had a foundation until I came to one of your shows. So first, let's talk to the audience about what Cabi is in case they're not familiar, and then we'll dive right into the foundation.
Okay, awesome. Yes. So Cabi is a clothing brand. It was started by women for women. And it was 19 years ago, our founders were sitting around brainstorming, and they became curious as to what could it look like if women could gather together to shop a curated designer's collection and take that whole stressful, overwhelming trip to the mall out of the equation. And then they thought, what if there was a personal stylist that was part of this experience, truly revolutionizing the way women shop and, well, actually, honestly, the way women work now too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we were talking about it just before the show. There's really three really big pockets, places that the Cabi Foundation is giving back, or the way that it's giving back. So let's dive into the first one, which is worldly, right? Where every time somebody like you gets involved with Cabi, the foundation is actually giving back. So can you talk about that part of the foundation?
Yes, we call it We Are Cabi, Women Entrepreneurs. So we partnered with Opportunity International, and we fund small business microloans to women in developing countries. And this is extended each time a woman starts a Cabi business. In her name, the loan is given to a sister entrepreneur, we call them, in another country. And those women can start a business of their own, whatever is on their heart to do. We have women that have cell phone stores. We have women that have jewelry businesses, tailor shops, taxi services. So whatever it is, they can use the money to get started in their business. And Opportunity International goes beyond just giving the money. These women also become part of a mentorship program. and they're provided training and connections with banking and insurance. So Opportunity International really comes alongside and walks with the women to make sure they're successful in their business.
Yeah, that is really cool. So not only giving back, right, and giving these grants to these women to start their own businesses, but also the mentorship, and that is so important. Even as women business owners in the United States, it's wonderful to have that mentorship, to have somebody to tag along with you and be your accountability partner, right?
Yeah,
As you build your business. So I love that. And there's also an opportunity I noticed for people like me who come to a show or are part of a trunk party where we can round up and give back that way.
Yes, our Make a Change program. And so we do encourage our clients when they're placing an order to round up to that next dollar. And all of that change funds our Heart of Cabi Foundation. And recently, a couple of years ago, the team made a trip to Rwanda and they sat down with some of the women and just listened. How can we help more? What else can we do? And they heard from these women that a significant portion of their earnings were going to their children's education loans or education fees. And so Cabi has now routed all of that change from the Make a Change program into funding school loans for these children. And we're up to almost 9,000 students that we've put in schools now through just Make a Change. I mean, that change really adds up. It's astonishing, one penny at a time, it adds up. And so.
Yeah. Absolutely. That is so cool. And so I didn't know the details behind it. I just knew, a lot of people ask you to round up, and those pennies do inside the Cabi Foundation go to such a great cause and helping these families get out of debt, right? For their children. That is really amazing. So I know there's one more thing that people can do when they shop with you. I think there's a special product or something that you can buy, right?
Yes, it's called your guilt-free purchase. So I'm wearing it today. Each season, we have a Heart of Cabi piece of clothing in our line. It's typically a top, and the net proceeds of the sales of the top go to fund our foundation. And so, we tell women that it's their guilt-free purchase because it's the money they're spending on the top, it's going to good.
I love that so much.
And through that, we help women locally through communities, we partner with local nonprofit organizations. Each time there is some catastrophic kind of event in the community. So take, for example, Hurricane Katrina back in 2005. When that happened, Cabi comes in and the Cabi Stylist team together, and we pass out brand new clothing to women, just to help them out, empower them, encourage them through, what they're going through. And so that statistic, we're up to donating $60 million in brand new clothing to women across the United States and across the world. So, not only like the hurricane, we've also, if it's tornadoes in the Midwest, the California fires, we've served 205 communities to date where Cabi comes in with clothing and just distributes it to the women in need. So.
Well, that is so cool. And I'm looking at the website now, so I don't want people to know or to think that I memorized all these statistics, but looking here, like 62 countries are impacted by the foundation, and $60 million in clothing and monetary contributions have been donated. And there are many others. And I just think that is absolutely amazing. And I love what you do. And I'd like to even talk about why you got into this business in the first place. And you're helping women through your business. And it's not just through the foundation, right? But you're building confidence in these women that you're offering trunk shows to. And let's talk a little bit about that. Why are you in this business in the first place?
Really, my heart is just to encourage women and make them feel good about themselves. My motto and my mission is, if you look good, you feel good, and you go out into the community in the world and you do good. I truly believe that if you feel good about yourself and if you look good, then you have a more positive impact in the world. I think you are a better sister, wife, mother, employee, boss, whatever, when you feel your best. And so I'm just passionate in helping women find their best and see themselves in their best. And so clothing is my platform. Clothing is the way that I reach the women and help them find that. So when I discovered Cabi, their creed just really spoke to me. Like, our creed at Cabi is that we are affecting lives through relationships. And so I build relationships, women, and it goes way beyond clothes. When I have these trunk shows, or even I do personal styling sessions, our conversations go beyond clothes. And so I just feel like this almost is a little ministry to me, in a way that I can bring positive and encouragement to women.
I love that. So you and I have had the opportunity to really dig into your business on another podcast. And it was all based on an encounter we had over Zoom, which is, I said, you don't need to worry about the bottom half, right? So long as you're dressed from the top up. And you said, no, no, no. There's a reason why. There's a mindset behind getting up and going to work. So I know you probably didn't expect to talk about this today, but I think it's an important point because of the world that we're living in right now. We're all on Zoom. Talk to me about why we should get dressed from head to toe, even if we're working from home.
Yeah, that's funny. We were just talking about this with a group of women that I was with last night. And really, it is a mindset shift. It just puts you in a different frame of mind. So back to performing your best. When you look your best and feel your best, you're going to perform better. And so I was just encouraging people, even though we're working from home, get up, go through your routine, shower, get dressed, and so you look good and you feel good, and you're in that mindset of, okay, it's business. And it's just, I think, a level of respect, not only to yourself, but to whoever you're working with that day, that you respect them enough to, brush your hair and not. I mean, there are days I love to put a ball cap on, but yeah, we're here doing business. So we should be in the business mindset, and it just kind of helps to get up and get dressed, and you feel better. That's what the women I was with last night, they were saying, I feel better if I'm put together. And so
I love that. So yeah, and it really is. I tell people all the time, you have to get up, you have to get dressed, you have to have your normal routine and go to work. Even if it's 10 steps down the hallway, it's so important. And you're absolutely right. I don't come to work in my pajama pants. Now, I'm not putting on really nice shoes. Sometimes I wear tennis shoes to work. I'm just saying. But I always get dressed from head to ankle. How about that? And it does make a difference. It makes you more confident. It creates that boundary. And you talked about that, right? In the Bridge the Gap podcast, about creating that boundary between work and home, where your family knows if you got up and you put on a jacket, or you got dressed from head to toe, they know that you're at work. And it's a lot easier to create those boundaries with your family. I know you weren't expecting to go down that path, but I think it's so important these days. Number one, we need to get dressed when we go to work. Number two, it's about empowering women and helping them with that mind shift, helping them feel more confident, helping them stand up straight, right? And know that they can get that contract or they can build that business, because they can. And if they're dressed for success, that really does shift your mind. It absolutely does. I'm so happy to have met you. I remember, I'm not sure that you were even moved in the first day that you and I met for coffee. And that
I
was
know,
a year
right.
ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
just a little over a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking of that this morning, that I think you were the first person I really kind of met.
Yeah, in person, right? It's great. And then you had to go be a part of a networking group instead of mine. I'm just playing. It just makes our worlds bigger, right? And then we can build relationships through each other into those groups. And
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I love that as well. Jayci, thank
Mm.
you so much for being on with me today and talking about the
Yeah.
Cabi Foundation. What a special treat to work for such a wonderful company and to be empowering and helping women across the world.
Yeah. Thank you. It's amazing. The ripple effect that the giving can have. Just when we give these small business loans to a woman, it not only is impacting her life, but it's impacting her families and changing the trajectory of their future. And really, like, if she starts a business and hires employees, then it's affecting their lives and their families. And so I think we had a statistic that my team gave 14 loans last season, and those 14 loans impacted 70 people's lives. And so it's just that ripple effect, and and we always say we do well in order to do good. So that's we're not a company that wants to be successful just for success sake. We want to be successful. We want to do well in order to do good throughout the world and have an impact.
Yeah, that's what, well, and you are having an impact. Even your local team, right, is having an impact. What a wonderful, wonderful story, impacting 70 people just in your local team. And then
Yeah,
imagine, right, the ripple effect or the pebble on the pond, as I
yeah,
like to call it, right,
yeah.
and how
And
much it impacts. Yeah.
the children's lives, like just getting that education for those children, those statistics are just heartbreaking to the children that don't have the opportunity for education. It's heartbreaking to hear the statistics of those that aren't able to go to school in these developing countries.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Just
we
the
and
little things, right? It's the little things and the giving back. And I'm a firm believer of giving back to the community that supports me as a small business owner. And one of the reasons why I started this podcast in the first place is to really highlight people who are doing that. And you are a great example of doing that. And I thank you for being on the show. So if people want to get in touch with you because they're curious about Cabi, they're curious about Cabi Foundation, they're curious about getting dressed from head to toe, what's the best way to reach you?
well, my email is, this is going to be difficult because I have a strange name, Jayci, Jayci Schmitt, SCHMITT @gmail.com. You can find me on social media too, Jayci Schmitt, and Wonderful Image is the name of my company. It's wonderful with a one. And my phone number, if you just want to text or call, is 479-426-4929.
Perfect. And I will put that in the show notes as well so they can just point and click. And it'll make it easier if they're not listening while they're driving in the car.
We don't want to endanger any lives. Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. Jayci, thank you so much again for being on the show with me today. I appreciate everything that you do for our local community and how you're impacting even women business owners in the world.
Well, back at you. Like I said, I just really think it's awesome that you provide this platform to focus on all the good that is done out there. We need more positive news out in the world.
That is the truth. Absolutely. And again, another reason why I'm doing this. I for those of you who haven't listened to my intro show, you should go back and listen to it. I have some really heartfelt reasons for doing this. But the biggest one is bringing people like Jayci on the show to highlight organizations and people who are giving back. So thank you again. I appreciate you being with me. And
Yes,
that concludes this week's podcast of Serving the Community. Thanks so much for listening today. There are so many great things about our modern world, but the people in it should be at the top of that list. Taking a genuine interest in your family, friends, neighbors, and even strangers is one of the most rewarding decisions you can make for yourself and those around you that you choose to serve. If you enjoyed this episode of Serving the Community, be sure to subscribe so that you're notified when a new episode is posted. Please rate and review this episode and be sure to share with your connections. You can also find out more about what I'm up to at trishastetzel.com.